For a long time, I couldn't get over guilt. In this video, I'll explain how that changed and why I live now guilt-free with a good, full life, even after 3 abortions. If you're a woman of faith, you're going to learn something. And even if you're not, you'll still find value in what I have to say. God gave me the gift of guilt to get my attention. Having 3 abortions was wrong, and feeling convicted about that was natural, true guilt. But that doesn't mean it felt good. I experienced the normal physical symptoms of guilt, like sleep problems, stomach and digestion issues, and tension. Well, tension was just a part of my daily life. I couldn't seem to escape some of the emotional and social consequences of hanging on to guilt, like perfectionism and people-pleasing, and never being able to make a decision. Some women can't stop replaying their abortion experience, beating themselves up over and over in guilt. Me, I numbed it with work and alcohol. It took a lot of years before a time came when, as some people say, I hit rock bottom. I was exhausted, lonely, and hopeless. I was raised as a Catholic, and I so wanted to believe that verse in the Bible that says, "But if we freely admit our sins, when His light uncovers them, He will be faithful to forgive us every time." So I cried out, saying how sorry I was for my 3 abortions, and I asked God to help me. He led me to a Rachel's Vineyard retreat with other women who understood what it was like to live after abortion. I asked Jesus to forgive me, and I started a new journey to follow Him, and it's made all the difference. But you know what? Even for a long time afterward, I continued to be overwhelmed by guilt from time to time. Someone called this slinky guilt. What do I mean by slinky guilt? It's guilt you can't seem to get rid of. You've talked to God about it and accepted forgiveness. You think you moved on. Then someone says something or a memory comes up and it comes slinking back. Sometimes slowly, sometimes it comes flooding back. Back and forth, back and forth. I'd feel hopeful, then I'd feel anxious, overwhelmed, and defeated. And that's because it took me a while to understand that when I decided to make Jesus the example for my life and to follow Him, He gave me authority over guilt. I bet you didn't know that, did you? If you're a believer in Jesus, you have a God-given authority that no one else can claim. Jesus forgave your abortions, so there's absolutely no reason to struggle with guilt anymore. That was a hard concept for me to understand. I mean, what was the point of Jesus' sacrifice if we're going to continue to allow guilt or shame or fear to take over? Jesus did the work. He paid the price for our abortions. Now it's our turn to take authority over our thoughts and emotions. What does that mean? It means we guard our hearts and refuse to be intimidated by talk in the media or politics. We don't allow ourselves to be fooled by subtle messages from anyone, even those in the church, that abortion is an unforgivable sin. What about when we're having a bad day or something reminds us of our past? Yeah, guilt comes slinking back, triggering depression, rage, hopelessness. What are we to do? Well, here we go. That's when you step in and claim the personal and spiritual authority you received when you decided to follow Jesus. You refuse to be intimidated or deceived. You refuse to give up your joy and hope. And here's what that looks like. Pro-life, pro-choice protests come across your screen. You change the channel. You swipe away. You say out loud, "No, I refuse to feel guilty. Jesus settled that on the cross." There's prayer in church for the unborn. Or you overhear someone say, "How could anyone murder their own child?" You take authority over guilt and you repeat the truth. Those who are believers in Jesus can no longer be condemned. In the midst of a bad day, when familiar depression, anxiety, or guilt pull you down, well, you step into the authority you have over your life and say, "No, I refuse to let those thoughts take over. Today, I'm going to focus on hope and peace. I'll think about what's good about my life. I'll plan a next step to move forward in healing. Now, let me be clear. This is not positive thinking. This is stepping into the authority of God over your life. His authority is so much more powerful than positive thinking. Authority means the power or the right to give orders, to make a decision. As a follower of Jesus, when guilt comes flooding back in, it's your responsibility, your right to take action. Choose the thoughts you're going to dwell on, the emotions you allow to control you. Use the emotion of guilt to point you back to the truth that Jesus paid your debt, even abortion. The guilt you're feeling is false guilt. It keeps you afraid, ashamed, and discouraged, and that's never from Jesus. I promise to explain how I live a guilt-free good life, even after 3 abortions. I choose to follow Jesus, and I use the authority that gives me to take control of my thoughts and emotions. That's how I got rid of slinky guilt. I'm not suggesting that you hide from the past or what happened. Sometimes remembering is a way to move on. So here's a video that can help you with that. I'm your mentor, Jane, on the journey to a good life with Jesus at the center, even after abortion.